Breakneck through the Bible 2017-2018, class number 16. Okay, you see I go away for one day and you're ready up to page 1100. So when we need to finish, that's what we'll do. I'll go away for 1 week and you'll be done. Okay, so we are at the end of chapter 2. Right at the end of chapter 2, which is where we ended off on page 15, chapter 2. Verse number, let's call 21. Let's just start from 21. Okay, so chapter 2, verse 21. Peter, would you like to read?
Sure. So Hashem God cast a deep sleep upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his sides, and he filled in flesh in its place.
Right, so again, right, so he took from his side, right? It's not rib, right? The word, right, mitzal osav, right, could mean rib. But in the Torah, it's used litzala hamishkan, and it's used for the sides of the tabernacle, right? The tabernacle, right? So that's why it's called ribs are, because ribs are the side of the human being, right? So God went and took from man's side, filled in his flesh in his place. Go ahead, verse number 22.
Then Hashem God fashioned the side that he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And the man said, This time it is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This shall be called woman, for from man was she taken.
Right, and we pointed out that woman is created from man, right? Man is created from dirt, but woman is created from man, right? And again, the last things that get created in the creation, the further along they get created, the more perfect it is, and then therefore it's actually not even created from the dirt; it's actually created from a human being already. And that's where woman is taken. It says God brought her to the man, right? And the Talmud says that he braided her hair to make her look extra pretty.
So this moment was when they actually separated.
No, when they separated, right?
They were together, it was separated.
Right. So God made her look beautiful, right? So she should be brought to man, right? And it should be, right? And man should find her pleasing, right? And it's what's fascinating is why did God, right, make woman beautiful and men ugly and hairy?
And smelly. Okay, I'll tell you why. You want the answer?
Right. Do you hear the question? Right.
You want the
right?
answer? You want the answer you gave me last time?
Let's see if you remember.
Of course I remember.
Go ahead.
Because he made a man ugly, hairy, and smelly, so that the woman would have to look inside to find his goodness. And he made the woman attractive, so the man would look at her long enough for her to find out what's inside.
Okay, right. Okay, so okay. Let me help you. Let me repeat it again.
Okay.
Okay. You got a little bit right, but let me help you. Let me refine your answer.
Thank you.
Okay, men are shallow, and they look at the outside. Right, they get caught up a lot in their packaging, and as your parents always taught you. Don't look at the packaging, look what's in it. Okay, but since men are visual, so therefore they went ahead and they looked, and therefore God had to make woman beautiful because he is a visual. Right? Men are visual. Right? If you don't believe me, just look at the sales of Playboy as opposed to the sales of Playgirl. Right? Because men are visual, so men, therefore God makes woman beautiful, right? So therefore she should be attractive to men. Right? Women are not superficial. I have a great story about packaging. Like whenever I say the story, I smile because I always think of the story. My aunt had my aunt's parents used to own a store in the Lower East Side, right in the early 1900s. And one day, one of them needed to go to the bathroom. So in those days, there was no bathrooms in the store, so I guess her father gave her a box to go to the bathroom. So she went to the bathroom in the box, and then she had to put it outside in the trash. But she just wanted to put a box outside, so she wrapped it and put the box outside with the trash. 20 minutes later, she looks back outside. and the box is gone. So it's kind of like the story of my family is, imagine the guy who, when he finally runs off with the box and thinks he got a present, and he opens it up, and what does he find inside? And that's like when I always think of, don't look at the packaging, but look what's inside of it. That's always the story that comes to mind. That's always what I'm thinking. Right? That's exactly what I'm thinking. Don't look at the packaging. Look what's inside the packaging. Right? And the quicker you figure that out, right, the happier you'll be there all the days of your life. Remember, as a little child, you wanted to buy that shiny little toy because it had all those flashing lights, and parents told you it was a ripoff, and you bought it anyway. And 30 seconds later, you walked out of the store, and what happened to your little shiny toy that was flashing lights? It stopped working. Right? And so therefore, some of us learn it sooner than others. It's called having packaging. Don't look at the packaging. Guys happen to be visual in that way, and that's why they learn visually. Right? And so therefore, it's visual, because we are visual, God had to make a woman beautiful.
Why we are created visual? I mean, is it just as a challenge for us all the time?
That's a good question. I don't have a good answer for you. I've thought about that. It is, that's how we work. We're created visual, right? And so therefore we go ahead and we're supposed to use that visual, right? We're supposed to, right? That's right. We're supposed to learn to don't look at the outside, but look at the inside, right? And we said that beauty is only skin deep. Right, and not only beauty just skin deep, what it is it actually, as a person ages, right, they don't have the looks how they look when they were 20, right? So but then because by that time God is hoping that you've gotten beyond the packaging, and you can see the inside, and therefore you don't need the outside packaging the way you need it when you were younger.
Sometimes outside beauty corresponds with inside beauty too.
It happens. It happens. But it happens. The Talmud has a great line. The Talmud says, "Al tistakel bekankan, elama sheish betocho." Don't look at the picture. Look what's inside of it. And the Talmud says, so there was a great sage who happened to have been very, very handsome. So he said, and the Talmud goes on to say that if you are handsome, okay, that if you are handsome, then still at that point in time, right, even though you're handsome, right, you lose. You don't have as much as smart. You're not as smart as somebody who is not handsome. So the Talmud says, well, there was a rabbi in the study hall that said, well, wait a second, I'm a very handsome guy, and not only very handsome, I'm also a Torah sage. So you see that even if you get at both,
even if you have a handicap, you know, overcome it.
So the other rabbi said to him. He said, if you were ugly, you would be even smarter.
Oh.
No. I'm going to tell you something. It's a tremendous lesson in life that is really something, really kind of something to think about. And that is, we all have, quote unquote, the picture. You ever go into like 7-Elevens or to any like these, Monster Yogurt type of places that you get a picture, let's go to a Slurpee. You get your Slurpee size, and you can fill up with whatever Slurpee flavors you like. But there's only everyone's got the same cup, right? So you can either have, if you take a lot of Coke, you can't have a lot of Dr. Pepper. Take a lot of Dr. Pepper, you can't have a lot of Fanta Orange. You can't let it in, you can't have, right? And so you kind of got to mix and match. The same way, up in heaven, we go ahead and we get our cup. And that's why a head is called a cup. Haha, this is a joke. Okay, right? But everyone goes ahead and gets a cup. And you get to fill it with whatever you want. Brains, brawn, looks, right? And when you fill it up, you're done. So when you put something in, it means you're leaving out everything else.
How about mixing?
Right? You can mix it, but whatever. But again, whatever mix, right? If you add to one side, you have to take off from the other side. Right? So, and that happens to be a fascinating class, actually, to do once, would be to actually go around and say, give you a cup, how would you fill it up? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like you had to give up, right? Certain things, you had to give up one thing to take another. What would you take? Yeah, Joyce.
So you're saying that God allows us to choose what to mix in our cup?
Absolutely. That's who we are.
So we're not that's not done by God. That's done by us ourselves.
Well, that's God taking us along and giving us whatever we want. Or that's creating who we are. It means every person, there's always the discussion of nurture versus nature. And the answer is it's both. Right? We all have our nature. Right? We're all born with certain gifts. Right? Certain gifts. They're all gifts. Some of them we're supposed to jetson, and some of them we're supposed to keep and enhance. Right? And make sure you jetson the right ones and you enhance the right ones, and you don't jetson the wrong one and enhance the other one. I had lunch with somebody today and said, okay, so you sold your business, his life is fantastic, you made $20 million. I said, so how much Torah are you learning these days? He says, well, Rabbi, I'm really not studying. And I said, you're what? I said, do you think God gave it to you that you don't have to work now so that you could play more golf? I said, is that what you think that God gave you the money for? Right? I said,
What did he say?
No, he didn't want that. I won't say what he answered. And right. So I said, that's not why God gave it to you. I said you have to. I said if you remember how we got connected is because you were going through a hardship at that point when you wanted some advice, so you came to speak to me. I said so that's fantastic. I said so if you need God to remind you to come see me more often, just let him know. He's happy to help you out. I said, but make sure, right, understand why we're here, right, what our job is, right, what we're supposed to be doing, right, and so, right, so we go ahead, we're given everything, right, we're given all our tools, we're given all our nature, and then we spend the rest of our life nurturing, and, right, and kind of enhancing the good things, getting rid of the bad things, and becoming a better person, right, becoming a more godly human being. And that's our job in life, is to become a godly human being. And the more godly we become, right, the more closer we become, the more it is. Right? You follow me? Right? Like that's like that's what takes place. And that's our job. Right? So God made women beautiful. Why? Because men, right? Because really beauty for their husbands, right? That's why he did it. And that's why, right? That's why by the way, you see the Torah, our society today has a 180 degree backwards. See, they say when you go out, and make sure you're all dressed up, you're all looking pretty, but when you're at home, you could kind of wear your sweats, right? So what happens? But instead, American society says, right? That's what American society says, right? Go out, get all dressed up. Right, when you're home, you can wear your sweats. And what is society? What does Torah say? Torah says, be dressed up when you're at home, right? So, right, when you're with your husband, you look pretty.
Dressed to the nines with your husband.
We're dressed to the nines with your husband, and go be schlumpy with everybody else.
That's right.
Right. You following? Because that's how God made it, right? And so since women are not visual, and so therefore they don't. Men can come and it's good to be hairy. It keeps you warmer, and it protects you a little bit. Like it's right. There are good things for that, but it's got to look right. You got to go ahead, and it's got to be right. You got to use everything that you have. But women are not visual, hence it's not a problem.
No, they're visual, but not as much.
Right. And they're much better at seeing what's underneath. Right, and so our job is to go ahead and to polish our inside so they see the inside, not the outside. Right, and that's our job.
But Rabbi.
Okay, one second.
So when a man goes after a woman, the first thing, if she's not pleasing to him, it's not the one for him, right?
No, that's incorrect. Okay, because
what do you say?
If a woman is not pleasing to him, right, pleasing visually, right, she should not go after her.
If I see a woman, I'm like, oh wow, is that the one? Or doesn't work like that.
No, because again, it depends how smart you are, right? If you care what the outside looks like, right, then you shouldn't. But you make.
The verse says that he took him from this side,
right,
made her look beautiful, so it would be pleasing for the man.
Right.
So that means if I don't look at the beauty, it's not the one for me.
No. It's like this. So the answer is that okay? Right? But remember what the Talmud says. If you have beauty, she's giving up something somewhere else.
I know, but these are
So
all
what-
after dating.
No, you're right. No. So your dating is to find out about the person.
Find out about
Find about the person.
So the beauty doesn't matter.
And then now this becomes a very interesting question. If you're not comfortable with the way she looks, right, and it's bothering your relation and will affect your relationship, then you probably should not marry her.
Is there such a thing as attraction?
Yes. Oh, there is attraction, but what are you attracted to? Brains, smarts, intelligence, kindness,
Compatibility.
goodness, looks.
Today's all visual. Right?
I'm telling you, be smart, right? Don't be like everyone else, right? It's like I had a friend that was talking to a bunch of teenage guys. He says, "Who here, right, would want to marry someone who's an airhead?" So nobody raised their hand. He says, "Well, I have this beautiful blonde bombshell, very airheady. Who wants to go out with her on a date?" And they all raised their hand. And he said, "Wait a second. I thought we said that we didn't want airheads, right? So the best line is, don't do what you want to do. Do what you really want to do, right? That's right, and that's really the key." Right, do what you really want to do. So don't.
A lot of it's makeup anyway, Really, it's true. I mean, you take an ugly woman and she puts on makeup, and man, she could be a knockout.
So the answer is don't be fooled. Why why would you want, right? What attracts you to somebody? Right? Use your brains. You know what I'm saying? You want a kind, generous, gentle, right? Refined, happy, right? I give you a whole long list of things.
So you're advising us to control our shallowness.
Correct.
And to try to look
Airy.
inside
Thank
first.
you. That's excellent.
Now can we move on?
Well put. Okay, right, but that's really the key. Okay, Frankie.
Yeah, but your explanation that's the way it should be. But
Right.
unfortunately, we live in a failing world that we want to marry someone in order, to get things, or if I marry this person, I'll be able to get this stuff, and that's the reason. So, but as a godly people, that principle does apply to people who understand how a human being should live and get together with one another. Men should get together for women. So it's based on love. What is the reason I want to date that person? And
It's okay. So before you can date somebody, listen up very carefully. Very important. Before you date anybody, you first have to know what you're looking for. Because if you don't know what you're looking for, I guarantee you won't find it. Okay? So you need to make a list. Right? You need to make we'll call inventory. Okay? And you need to go through you got to go and you got to say, what are your positives? What are your negatives? What would you like in your spouse's positives and negatives? Right? And you have to be really real. Right? Because you're going to live with this person for hopefully a very long time. Right? Now, if looks are very important to you, okay, I get it. So it's kind of sad, but go ahead. But then that bumps up on the list. But you're giving up other things for that. I think that's that poor decision making.
Yes.
And so hopefully you're at a point where you can make a smarter decision than that. Yeah.
Where does the beshert come in?
So the bashert is as follows. The bashert is that there's a woman out there or man out there, right? Who is bashert? Who is call it your carbon half. Okay. Now, but again, you have to remember that when you were born, you were carbon halves of each other, right? Carbon copies of each other. But then you put in 23 years worth of work, and she's put in 22 years worth of work. 23 years worth of, who cares, right? Whatever it is, right? So now, if you haven't done what you need to do, and she hasn't done what she needs to do, or she has and you haven't, she hasn't, you're not going to recognize each other. Right? Then you're going to marry somebody else who's not your Bereishis, and that's fine. Right? And that's perfectly okay. There are no two people that walk down the aisle to the chuppah that God does not want them walking down. Right? Okay? And so therefore then you go ahead and you get married and you have a lovely marriage. And you make her, or you make him your Bereishis. Right? You don't need it, right? You don't need it, right, to have it the other way. And that's what's called of having your Bereishis. Right? That's really the key. Right? And so you have to make a real list. And you have to then take a real list and you have to really think about what you really want. Right? We want lots of things. But remember, everything you want, you got to throw out something else. And now it becomes very, very, you have to become very, very, discerning. And you have to figure out what you really want. And then you have to figure out, now, hopefully I could find somebody who wants me with all my stuff.
Yeah,
it's not.
You're negative.
Right. So it's not a simple. It's not a simple thing. Yes, Joyce.
I'm not sure what a Bereishis is.
Oh, Bereishis means something like who is considered like your
soulmate
or whatever. I don't know, however they translate it. I'm not sure the right.
Meant to be.
Meant to be, right. Meant to be is probably a better translation.
How you recognize that?
The answer is make your list and somebody who and make sure the rabbi signs off on your list. And then that's your Bereishis.
So for a man, it's basically visual attraction, physicality.
No, that could be your animal instinct talking, but don't let that control who you are.
But how about for a woman?
I don't know. So
the woman is supposed to be looking at. She came from the man's side.
Right. So what is she supposed to be looking at?
Basically,
Caring.
She came from a father, so she looks somewhat like her father.
No.
Caring.
No, she came from her husband. Okay. But what is she looking for? Somebody who is caring, godly, caring, concerned, gentle, kind, nice, smart. The whole bunch of things.
So the woman is, when you're discovering the woman is also discovering you.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street, my friend.
Nothing to do with the beauty or attraction or anything like that.
Right. Again, she has to be drawn to you as well. But where that falls on my list, I would say that there are lots of things that come before that.
So how come some Hasidish within 1 hour they find the right woman, and people like me for years they still don't find the right woman?
Refer to some of your own questions.
No. Right. No. The answer is that actually.
In 3 days, and that's it. They're done, and they're happy.
Actually, because I'll tell you why. Because love is something that grows. Right? You don't grows. Right? It's after spending time with somebody that's how you begin to love somebody. Right? And so what happens is that at that point in time, right? At that point in time, you go ahead, right, and you have to make sure that you're getting what you want, right? What the right things are. But don't sell yourself short. I think most people do. I think most people don't have a clue what they're looking for. The Hasidic people do it in a way that's probably, if you actually stop and think about it, probably the most intelligent way of doing it. Which is you take the parents of the boy and the parents of the girl and they sit down, and the parents know the kids the best. And they sit down and they think, will the kids be compatible? Right? And if they think the kids will be compatible, then have the kids meet, the kids sign off, and off they go.
Back in 20 years ago, my country was like that, but now it's dead.
I'm just saying because that's Western civilization, and I'm not. We're not better off. I'm telling you the more intellectual way to do it.
Usually the divorce rate was 0, and now it's about 90%.
Right. This thing of falling in love is a very misnomer.
So no Valentine's Day exists.
It was made by Hallmark. Right. Okay.
So, 24.
Verse 24.
Therefore.
Okay, go ahead, Noam.
Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and cling to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
Right? And how do they become one flesh?
They
have a child.
They have a child.
Right? So they go ahead, right? They go ahead and they, right?
They were both naked. The man.
Okay, hold on. Right? Therefore, a man has to leave, man, right, and woman. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cling to his wife, and shall become one flesh.
Right.
Very, very important verse. What is the relationship between a child and his parents or her parents?
He's a taker.
Child's a taker. What's the relationship between a spouse?
Giver.
A taker. What's the relationship supposed to be?
Giver.
A giver. Very, very important. Listen up, folks. Right? Therefore, therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother. The Torah is telling you, therefore, a person should leave the relationship of being a child, which means being a taker, and should cleave to his wife and become one flesh. Learn to become a giver. Right? And at that point in time, that's what marriage is all about. It's all about the concept of going ahead and becoming one person, right? Learning to become a giver, right? Giving to each other, right? People get married and say, "What is my wife going to do for me?" Right? What is my wife going to give me? What is my husband going to give to me?
What do I want?
Right? What do I want from her?
What do I want from him?
Right? And that's a big, big problem because that's not what marriage is all about. Marriage is all about giving, right, and learning how to give. Right? And if you learn how to give, so then at that point in time, you've accomplished what marriage is all about. Right? And so therefore, when you get married, you should not ask, what does she give to me? And it says, what can I give to them, to her or to him? Right? What can I give to the other person? People will walk into my office and say, "Rabbi, I want you to marry me." And I say, "Why?" They say, "Well, he makes me feel so good. Oh, she makes me feel so wonderful." I said, "Please leave my office. I will not marry you." And they say, "What, you're not going to marry us, Rabbi?" I said, "No, absolutely not." They said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Because I don't want to, when I marry people, I marry them for the long term. People are going to get divorced. I don't want to marry." I said, why am I going to put the two nice, lovely people like you into so much pain? I said, "Just leave now and just call it a day and everyone will be happy." So they say, "Okay, Rabbi, what are we doing wrong?" And I said, "Okay." I said, "Let me ask you a question. What are you willing to give to him?" She says, "Give to him? What do you mean give to him?" Right? I'm looking for somebody who meets X, Y, and Z. And I turned to him and I said, "And what are you willing to give to her?" Give to her? Right? I'm waiting for her to give to me. Right? And so they're going into marriage with the concept of taking. And when you walk into marriage, the concept of taking, you're in big trouble. Right? Marriage is all about giving. Therefore, you shall leave your father and mother. Forget about becoming a taker. Learn to become a giver. Right? Go ahead and learn to become a giver. You learn to become a giver. At that point in time, that's really how you become godly. And that's why, by the way, God wanted us to become one. Right? He wanted us to become one. So what did he do? So he split us into two. Right? But the goal is to become one. But the way you become one is through a relationship of being givers, not through a relationship of being takers. And so therefore, right, being a taker, right, is not going to be godly. Yes?
So, a love grows over time.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to share my massive experience of being married.
Okay.
It seems like in the very beginning, you have to actually work at thinking about what she needs and what she wants.
Right.
And then over time, you just sort of get to know what she wants.
Right. Okay. That's good.
You have to, in the beginning, work at it.
You have to work at it harder. Right? Now, a woman always doesn't want her husband to know what she wants.
No,
Right?
that's why
Because
they
a
talk in
woman...
circles.
Right? No. Because a woman says, if my husband really loves me, he'll know what I want.
Yeah.
Right? That's right. That's the way she thinks.
Yeah.
And you have to explain to them, really after the rabbi explained to them, because you explain to them, she'll just cry. But you have to, right? You have to just explain to them that we are not mind readers. We want to make you happy, but we don't know how. So if we're having trouble figuring this out, help him. Like, write it out clearly what you want. I want the $1,000 bracelet from Macy's, catalog number 145672, right? And it's on sale tomorrow at 6. I would love it at 7 o'clock in the morning. Leave very detailed instructions, and he will do it because we need instructions.
Yes.
Right? Guys need instructions. Right? Women tend to think that men just know these things, and if we really love them, we could read their minds.
Yes.
Right? And
that becomes like a contract. It's like a
That-
business contract.
And no, it's men like it to be written very clearly, right? Because otherwise we have to figure it out, and we'll never figure it out.
No, impossible.
Right. So her job is to give us instructions, and our job is to do them, and then it's a very happy marriage, right? We're happy because we made her happy, and she's happy because she got to watch, and she knows that we care about it because we're doing what she asked us to do. It's a very simple formula. Right, and so that's what it is. But it's learning how to, right? It's learning how to communicate, because and teach you something about communication. Communication is not you talking. Communication is the person you are talking to understanding what you mean to say, not what you say, what you mean to say. Okay, because a woman, right, won't necessarily tell you. They have a very hard time saying what they want. They're talking riddles from us Martians. Us Martians have a very hard time understanding Venetian, and so therefore, and women come from Venus. They don't know what our Martians are talking about, right? And so communication is not me saying what I want; it's having my wife hear what I mean to say, right? And then you have to learning how to communicate that, and communicating back is a woman having her husband understand what she's saying. Right, without her saying it, because she won't say that, right? But for him to understand what she's saying, right? That's communication, right? And so you have to learn how to communicate, right? And that's what life's about. But it's with everybody. It's not just a husband and wife, right?
Women have a major problem in that regard, because psychologically, if they look like they're in control, they think that makes them look mean.
No. I'm going to explain. You want to hear the greatest line about marriage, or one of the greatest lines about marriage I ever heard? You want to hear it? It's an amazing line. The only thing more fragile than a woman's heart is a man's ego. Let me repeat that. The only thing, I have to thank Rabbi Grossman from Queens, and I forgot who he told me from. The only thing more fragile than a woman's heart is a man's ego. You see, a woman has to make her husband feel he's in charge, because the guy wants to be in charge.
Not really.
He wants to be the leader. Right?
They just want to be respected.
When
doesn't mean you're in charge.
Thank you. The guy needs to feel in charge, right? So a woman has to make sure that her husband feels in charge. That's her job, right? She could tell him what to do, but it's not her telling him what to do. It's suggesting, saying, that was such a brilliant idea that you thought of. I can't believe you thought of that. I said, well, what was that? She said, well, you said it was time to take out the garbage. I don't know how you figured that out. I says, yeah, I'm clever, brilliant. And she goes, yeah, you really are. And I'll go take it out, right? And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's her job. Her job is to make her husband feel brilliant, right? Because the only thing more fragile than a woman's heart is a man's ego. Okay, so that's how that works. And you're and you know who taught me this lesson? My aunt.
Is this the aunt with the shoebox?
I'm not sure. What?
That was your aunt's parents.
My answer? No. Yeah, no. A different aunt.
Different shoebox.
No. A different aunt. This aunt, whenever you used to go there, so like whenever you ask her for anything, she says, "Oh no, I can't tell you. You have to go ask." Right? You have to go ask Lenny, right? My father's brother. And then whenever you go ask him, he would say, well, what does Bernice want? And he would say to you, well, what does she want? You have to go back and say, okay, well, what do you want? She says, yeah, I think he'll do whatever she wanted. But she always made him feel that he was in charge. And I thought it was like ludicrous. I thought it was like as a kid, I remember hearing this thing go back and forth, and it was so strange. And then when I got older, I realized how brilliant it was, and just how brilliant what it is. Right? That's her job, and that's his job. right? And you have a lovely, happy marriage, right? That's what it's about. Okay, so therefore God gives him, right? And because marriage is the school of learning how to become godly. Because when you go to school and you learn your lessons, you get an A. And our job in this world is to become godly, right? So what happens is that they go ahead, right? And so, right, they have to, you have to learn how to become a giver, because that's what God is. And through the construct of marriage is the way we become like God. Okay, verse number 25.
They were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed.
Why were they not ashamed?
I have no idea.
Spiritual gain.
Because everything in their body was used for the service of God, right? So therefore, there was nothing else that any part of their body was. The only question was, how do we serve God, right? With it, and therefore there was right that they looked at their body. Their whole body was just a vehicle to serve God, right? And as we talked about, right, that what happened was originally. Their soul was so bright, and their body was so translucent, right, that all you saw was their soul. And if we were in the Garden of Eden, and we were to see, in the distance, we would see Adam and Eve walking towards us, what would we see? Two
lights.
Big lights.
Yeah, big pink lights.
Right. Two big white lights just shining, right? Because it was his soul, right? So they would just be going ahead and we just see light, because they were soul with a little bit of physicality, right? Which was their body, but their body was translucent, right? And therefore everything was in the service of God. Nothing different about anything, and it's all in the idea of serving God. Okay, that's really where that's what it boils down to. Right, it was all there. The entire body, the entire existence was there just to serve God.
Like, can I read the next one?
Sure.
This is where the humanity completely changes.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the fine line over here. Right now.
Michael, chapter 3, verse number 1, page 15. Take it away.
This is now the serpent was cunning beyond.
Okay. Go ahead.
Now the serpent was cunning beyond any beast of the field that Hashem God had made. He said to the woman, "Did perhaps God say, you shall not eat of any tree of the garden?"
Okay, you know what we're going to read straight through chapter 3. Okay, I'm just going to let you read through it, then we'll come back and we'll start dissecting it sentence by sentence. Go ahead.
The woman said to the serpent, "Of the fruit of any tree of the garden we may eat. Of the fruit of tree which is in the center of the garden, God has said, you shall neither eat of it nor touch it, lest you die." The serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die. For God knows that on the day you eat of this fruit, you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing good and bad." And the woman perceived that the tree was good for eating, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable as a means to wisdom. And she took of its fruit and ate. And he gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were open, and they realized that they were naked. And they sewed together a fig leaf and made themselves aprons. They heard the sound of Hashem God manifesting itself of the garden toward evening. And the man and his wife hide from Hashem God among the trees of the gardens. Hashem God called out to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" He said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I am naked, so I hide. And he said, who told you that you are naked? Have you eaten from the tree from which I commanded you not to eat? The man said, the woman whom you gave to be whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And Hashem God said to the woman, what is this that you have done? The woman said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate.
Okay.
And Hashem.
Hey, Joyce, you want to continue reading? Verse 14.
Okay. And Hashem God said to the serpent, because you have done this, accursed are you beyond all the cattle and beyond all beasts of the field. Upon your belly shall you go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will pound your head, and you will bite his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly increase your suffering and your childbearing. In pain shall you bear children. Yet your craving shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you.
And top page 19.
To Adam he said, because you listened to the voice of your wife and ate of the tree about which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, accursed is the ground because of you. Through suffering shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles shall it sprout for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. By the sweat of your brow shall you eat bread, until you return to the ground from which you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust shall you return. The man called his wife's name Eve, because she had become the mother of all the living. And Hashem God made for Adam and his wife garments of skin, and he clothed them. And Hashem God said, behold, man has become like the unique one among us, knowing good and bad. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. So Hashem God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the soil from which he was taken. And having driven out the man, he stationed at the east of the Garden of Eden the cherubim and the flame of the ever-turning sword to guard the way to the tree of life.
Okay, good. So let's go back now to the beginning of chapter 3.
Yes.
Okay, so does anyone want to just tell me in a nutshell kind of just what just happened here? Joyce, what just happened?
Well, it's confusing. At first it sounds like because they ate from the tree that he's angry and that
Who's angry?
God, Hashem God,
Okay.
angry because they disobeyed him, eating from the tree.
So God got angry at them because we disobeyed him? Who disobeyed him?
Well, Eve took the
Adam.
took the fruit and fed it to Adam,
Okay.
supposedly. Or at least
What do you mean
that's the way
supposedly?
Adam tells the story.
What do you mean? Where does Adam tell the story?
Adam tells God that.
Well, what does the Torah say happened?
He says, "From you shall neither eat of it lest you die." Oh, that's the serpent says. Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree from?
Yeah, right. Okay, one second. But who ate from the tree first?
Adam.
The woman.
What?
Adam did.
Really?
The woman.
No.
Could you go back to read verse number 6? And the woman perceived.
And she took of its fruit and ate. Yeah.
So who ate from it first?
And then Adam.
And then what does it say about Adam?
And then
And she gave also to her husband with her.
With her.
And he ate.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened?
So she listened to the serpent
She listened to the serpent, okay.
and took the fruit and
And-
ate it.
okay.
And then she turned around and gave some to Adam.
Okay, good, excellent.
And
And then God shows up, God's upset at them. What did you do? Man blames woman blames the snake, God punishes the snake, God punishes woman, God punishes man, throws him out of the garden, and we live happily ever after at the end of chapter 3.
Right.
Right? Is that kind of is just a quick
That's the
rundown?
story.
That's the story, Jack. Chapter 3, start to the end. That's how it goes down.
So the serpent seduced Eve. Eve
Now, what
ate.
does it mean?
Now what does it mean? Right, it's right. The serpent seduced Eve.
Eve ate the apple.
Eve ate, okay, we'll have to see why did Eve eat the apple. Okay, eat the apple. Okay.
Well,
No, remember, not the apple. Remember, it's not an
fruit,
apple.
the
The fruit. What was the fruit?
Bread.
Bread. Okay, it was a bread tree, right? Remember that?
She
It's a bread
ate.
tree.
She ate and then she offered the same to Adam, right?
Yeah.
He ate too.
He also ate.
So they are both in it.
Correct. They're both in hot water.
I have one question. Why did Adam listen to her?
Oh! You only have one question. I have a million questions. I don't understand any single verse in this entire story. This entire story to me is so like,
You want me to explain it to you, Rabbi?
Yes. Like the whole story here is like so. Now I want to tell you something. You know what the sages say? Every sin in history
Right back to this.
goes back to this story. This story is so important. Every sin in history goes back to this story. If you understand this story, you can understand the entire history of the world.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
Right.
That's exactly what the Talmud says.
Yeah.
The most important story that you'll ever read in your entire life comes from chapter 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of chapter 3 and let's figure this out because we got to understand the story, right, Mel?
Yes,
I mean, we got to get this down pat, right? Like this is a secret to everything. You want to understand everything? Read chapter 3, not chapter 11, chapter 3. Okay, right? It's right chapter 3 here in Genesis, the most important story you'll ever read in your entire life.
The source of all evil in the world.
The source of all evil in the world is in this
Amazing,
story,
isn't it?
isn't it? Amazing, fantastic. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's start again from chapter 3, verse number 1. Mel, why don't you read verse number 1? Page 15.
Now the serpent was cunning beyond any beast of the field that Hashem God had made.
Okay, who is the serpent?
An animal.
An animal, okay, but an animal, it's really, right, it's an animal, but it stands for the evil inclination. Okay, now who created the serpent?
Adam.
Hashem.
Who created the serpent?
God.
Hashem did.
God.
What does the Torah say? Who created the serpent?
God.
God.
Adam.
God created everything.
Adam named everything and knew everything.
Okay, great, good.
God made the serpent.
Really?
Yes.
Can you show me where you see that in the text?
Because it says here he made all the animals right here.
Can you read chapter 3, verse 1 again? You know, Mel, maybe you didn't do it loud enough. Maybe read it a little louder so we can all hear this. Read this slow and clear.
Before you continue, what is a serpent? Is it a snake?
A serpent is a snake. Okay, a serpent is a snake, but it's not just a snake. Here it's standing for the evil inclination.
Nice.
Okay, so now if you could imagine, right? Because let me ask you a question: was it possible for man to sin before they ate from the tree of knowledge?
No.
Then how did they sin? We've got a problem here, right? Okay, so now we repeat the question. Was it possible for man to sin before they ate from the tree of knowledge?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Because otherwise they couldn't have eaten from the tree. Right? Okay, so it's possible for them to eat from the tree of knowledge even before.
Right.
Good. Okay.
But they couldn't. But you said the serpent is symbolic of the Yetzer Hara.
Right, of the evil inclination.
Okay. But it says here in chapter 1, verse 31,
Yeah, go ahead, good.
and God saw all that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And you said very means that's when the Yetzer Hara was created. So he created the serpent.
Beautiful. Right?
Really?
Chapter 1, verse 31. Right when he said, "And God saw it," it said, "And every day saw, and God saw that it was good."
Yeah.
And on the last day, day number 16, it says, "God saw that it was very good." Right? What does it mean, very good, as opposed to just being good? Because now he created the evil inclination. Why is the evil inclination something that's very good?
Because without it, we don't have free will.
Because without it, we don't have free will. And if we don't have free will, what happens when we don't have free will?
Then we're animals.
Right? So what makes us human?
We're angels are animals.
Right? Right, but we're all the same. What makes us human? That we have free will. What gives us our free will?
It's a hurrah.
We have the evil inclination. So the evil inclination is something that's very important. That's why, by the way, when Mel read chapter 3, verse 1, I heard Mel read as follows. Tell me if this is what you heard. Now the serpent was cunning beyond any beast of the field that Hashem, God, had made.
So
who created the serpent?
Hashem did.
Hashem, God.
But he also made him cunning.
What is that? Of course he did. Because who is Hashem, God? Right, otherwise known as Adonai, Elohim, two names of God. Who is Hashem or Adonai?
Creator of everything.
Good.
Adonai is the God with the attribute.
God of mercy.
Mercy.
God is the attribute of
Mercy.
justice. God is justice.
Elohim.
Hashem.
Elohim.
Right. Hashem is mercy. So now take a look at the beginning how chapter 3 starts. Now the serpent was cunning beyond any beast of the field that Hashem, God, had made. Which God made the serpent?
Both.
No, the mercy. Right? Remember, God is both mercies. Both those are
so
attributes
Hashem
of Him.
is,
But it's saying that Hashem, don't think the serpent's a bad guy. The serpent is on God's payroll.
Serpent had a mission.
You understand? He had a mission, exactly.
And
He's not a bad guy. He's doing his job. And what was our job?
To resist.
To resist. And what did we do?
We didn't.
We fell hook, line, and sinker. Right? Right? That's what happened. Right? But it was Hashem, God, who made us. Right? Because Hashem had mercy and Hashem had justice. It was all good. Everything was going according to plan. And all man had to do was to tell the snake,
no.
My mommy told me don't talk to strangers. And what would have happened? We would have lived happily ever after in the Garden of Eden. We're going straight into the Messianic era. Life would have been a bowl of cherries without the pits.
So forever.
And there would be no Holocaust. There would be no pain.
Except, go ahead.
Except God did not want it that way.
Oh, excellent. Why did God not want it that way?
Well, I don't know if it's too simplistic, but there's a thread going through the Torah.
Yeah.
You know, Moses tells the people of Sinai, everything there is to know about what their lives are going to be like. Mm-hmm. But God already told him.
Right.
And then you say to us, we're already born with the knowledge, complete knowledge of Torah.
But we forget it when we're born.
We forget it.
We forget it.
Right. Because that's what we're taught.
But it seems like God is the producer, the director, and he's an auteur, and I can't help reading this, knowing that God is just standing there or looking down, just waiting to see the result of his...
No, waiting to ask a question. Does God know the future?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. The answer is yes, but the question is a silly question.
Right.
Because...
Future hasn't occurred for us.
Future, it hasn't occurred for us, but has future happened for God already?
Oh, yes.
God's above time.
Yes.
So there's no such thing as future. God knows exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
But our job was to resist. Ultimately, by the way, when the Messianic era comes, we will have conquered, right, this evil inclination, and then God will, then we could usher in a time of all goodness. But until we conquer it,
you say conquered or have better resistance to,
that means conquered it to what we're able to. Yeah. And so then at that point in time, then God could usher us into the Messianic era.
Well,
where everything is perfect. it's going to be way different.
Yeah.
Because we'll have the recognition that God will be so palatable, right? We'll look at it and it's just so so real.
The presence of God.
Right, the presence of God is so real. Right, that's what's going to
We
happen.
won't want to choose evil.
Yes, right. So choosing will become kind of like kind of weird. Right, and so what happens is, so God wants us to go ahead, right, and to go ahead and to choose. He wants us to be successful. So God is sitting up there and He's rooting for us. He's saying, "Go, go, 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 Mel, go." Right, make the right choices.
But we didn't.
Right, right. Those are the choices that God is pushing us to do.
But what would have been the point of making us if we didn't eat from the fruit of the tree,
Now the point is that why did God create the world?
right?
To be able to give to us.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to the ultimate good is God could just give us the ultimate good and just give us everything. The only problem is then at that point in time we are turned into takers, and that's not the ultimate good. Because the job is to be godly, to be givers. So how do we earn what we get?
By choosing good.
By choosing good, by choosing godliness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we get it all.
So, what you're saying, our actions can actually determine the future for us. God knows where it's going to go, because He knows what you're going to choose.
Correct.
But
But we don't know.
We don't.
Hence, we have free will.
right.
Correct.
So our actions
Determine.
determine our future.
Correct. You ever read those books as a kid? Choose your own future.
No.
You ever do that? Choose your own
They didn't
ending.
have them in my day.
I know they had them when I was. They're great stories. Like a story, and it says, "Okay, guy's out for a hike and he sees a cave. Does he go into the cave or does he not go into the cave?"
Goes in the
Okay,
cave.
you go into the cave, turn to page 120. Doesn't go in the cave, turn to page 80. And turn to page 180, and it says, okay, then he just went home and lived ever after. Okay, he went to the cave. Okay, what happens? It goes into the cave. When it goes into the cave, okay, well now he starts going down, and all of a sudden he comes to a fork in the road. Did he go to the right or go to the left? And you choose your own ending, okay? I love those books. I used to read them backwards. I started from the ending I liked and read it backwards till I got to the story that I wanted. Right? So like that's the world, right? We get to choose our own endings, right? We get to choose where we're going. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. Now, God knows what we're going to choose because everything's in front of God.
So the serpent was created as a tool. God created as a tool to tempt the Adam and Eve.
Oh!
But then,
Ooh, so good.
What is it?
The serpent was created as a tool by God to tempt Adam and Eve.
yeah, but if that was the case, why the poor guy was punished?
Oh, what? Because they chose the wrong thing.
No. The serpent.
Oh, the serpent. Oh, okay. Hold on. You're worried about the poor serpent. Thank you. That's so kind of you. I'm worried about poor Adam and Eve. You're worried about the serpent.
The logic of it.
No. Excellent question. I'm going to tell you the answer now, even though it's like only like verse it's only in verse 14 that it gets punished, but it's going to be 3 weeks time. You'll forget it by now. So I'll tell you the answer now, but I'll tell you again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The serpent gets punished because like this. The Talmud says an amazing story. The Talmud says that at the end of days, God's going to reveal Himself to the world. And He's going to make this big party. And all the righteous people there, and all the wicked people are going to be there. And God is going to go ahead, and God is going to show the righteous person the big Hulk that his serpent looks like. His serpent's going to have muscles behind his ears.
Right.
And the righteous man is going to cry.
As the serpent.
He's going to say, how could I have beaten such a tremendous adversary? Look how strong my evil inclination was, and I didn't know how I was able to beat it. And he's going to sit there and cry. And then he's going to show the wicked person his evil inclination. And it's going to look like a white little thread. And the wicked person's going to cry and say, how could I not have beaten my evil inclination, this weakling little thing? The Talmud is telling us an amazing lesson. The Talmud is teaching us that now if you would ask me, I read this Talmud first, I had a very big question. If it was a righteous person, what should the righteous person's evil inclination look like? Small little tiny thing. That's why he's righteous. He's able to beat it. It's no problem. The wicked person, is he a big tough guy? Of course he wasn't made to beat it because it's stronger. That's not what the Talmud says.
Opposite.
Talmud says the opposite. Yeah. The Talmud is teaching you like this. When you become righteous, your evil inclination has to go work out. Because now you have strength to make a good decision.
Yeah.
So now he has to get more cunning and more slimy. He's got to go, right? You all are here in class learning. You know what your evil inclination is right now? He's at the gym working out, trying to build those muscles. So when you come out of here and you're strong, he's going to now be able to fight you. Because what it is the wicked person. You know what the evil inclination of the wicked person is? He's sitting in the Caribbeans with the martini glass, lying in the sun, having a great time. His evil inclination hates me. Because if I go find the guy who's doing that, I could kind of rope him in. His evil inclination now is that he's out of retirement. He's got to come back and work again. Right? And what happens is that the Talmud is teaching us, when you go and you strengthen yourself to become stronger, to come to greater relationship with God, your evil inclination is growing as well. And when you're sloughing off, your evil inclination is sloughing off. And what happens is, fascinating, and what happens is, when all that takes place, right, when all that takes place and you're busy, right, is that your evil inclination is like this. It's called Nekuda Sabachira. This is a very important idea. Nekuda Sabachira means your point of free will. I'll give you an example of it. Is anyone here going to get rewarded for not taking out a gun and shooting somebody? You have to be careful when you ask this question in Texas. But you're okay? Right? But is anyone here going to get rewarded for not taking out the gun and shooting somebody? No.
Case, yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. Maybe in your case, you have to talk about that. After class, I want to visit with you. Okay, right? But is anyone going to get rewarded for that? No. Why? Because you're not going to shoot somebody. Right? That's not a challenge for you. Right? Does anyone here have a challenge that they're going to become look like me tomorrow? No. Why? Because that's not where you're at. Right? What's your choice? The choice is, am I going to maybe pray a little bit? Am I going to, maybe I'll start, I'll eat kosher once a day. Right? You know what I'm saying? Right? That's where my choice is. Right? That's where I'm choosing yes, choosing no. Right? That's the place where it is. But at the end of the day, right, we have what's called Nekuda Sabachiri, the point of choice of really where I'm 50-50, right? I'm 50-50, and I can go both ways. And now which way am I going to choose? Am I going to choose righteousness, or am I going to choose wickedness? Right? We all have that. We all in different places. And we all have our own choice on what we're going to choose. Right? And that's called Nekuda Sabachira. The snake gets Adam and Eve thrown out of the Garden of Eden, and we'll learn what happened to them. But the Adam and Eve become so.
Why was the snake punished?
No. Right. Yeah, it was the punishment. The answer was that man became so weak after they sinned that the snake had to be tremendously weakened as well.
I see.
And that's why the snake got punished. Again, he's a robot. He's right. What does it mean? He lost his hands and feet.
He's an angel.
He's an angel. What does that mean? It means that he lost the tremendous power he had. Why? Because Adam and Eve lost the tremendous power they were in. Adam and Eve were high over here. They fell right down to here. The snake was up over here. Well, Adam and Eve's down here. If they keep the same evil inclination up over here, there's no competition. They'll sin every time. So God has to take the serpent and bring him right down here. And so now they're on equal settings.
I get it.
And that's why he gets punished. It's not a punishment to the snake. The idea is man fell, the snake fell. Right? They both lose, right, from their spiritual heights, and therefore, right, we take the snake, We throw them out to the beach. We give them a martini glass, right? And then Adam and Eve are down over here, and that's their challenge.
The more righteous the person, the more challenges.
There's even and that's what it's teaching us.
But Mel's,
Okay,
Mel's
hold on,
inference is different.
What?
Mel's inference is different from what you just said.
Mel
made an inference that God was manipulative, and you didn't answer that.
Okay, so
Use
my
the
okay.
reptile maybe?
No. So my answer is God is not manipulative. Now God knows. Let me ask you a question. So why does God even make us run through the motions? He knows everything.
Because it's for our good.
The answer is because we're able to actualize what we do, and as if we could reward us in a real way for what we do. So we have to actualize it. He knows what we're going to do. He's manipulative in a way that he wants us to choose right. He's sitting up there begging us, just do the right thing. That's all God wants. Because as soon as we do the right thing, into the Messianic era.
Is it possible that science is correct about parallel universes, and that in some universe, Adam and Eve did not eat of the tree?
Okay, I don't know parallel universes so well, but I will tell you.
It's string theory.
But it will tell you string theory. When I hear string, I think it's string cheese. Okay, right? It's fascinating because there's even more. God, right, spoke us into creation. But remember, this world is a mirage. Right, you understand? This physical world is nothing.
And I've never understood that. I hear that all the time, and everyone's like,
Okay,
"Yeah,
I'm
I get
thinking,
that." And I'm like,
because
"I know."
okay, so let me explain to you something. I'm going to explain to you
God
something
doesn't
true
know.
and false. You know what the definition of truth is? It's got three. They got three pieces to be true. It's real, it's eternal, and it's a reflection of God's will. Okay, and repeat it. Real, eternal, reflections of God's will.
Okay.
What is false?
False.
Not real.
Not real, not
a
eternal,
reflection.
and not a reflection of God's will. Okay, that's false. Truth, and okay, now again, the way we use truth and false is incorrect, by the way. Right? Tell me the truth. I'll give you an example. We're sitting here. Somebody's not going to go quickly hide me. The guy trying to kill me, and we know he's innocent. We hide him in a closet. A minute later, the guy went, "Did you see that guy go see?"
No.
He went down the block.
Well, it's down, yeah.
Okay, did we tell the truth or did we
Yes,
lie?
We told the truth.
We lied, right? But we say that in America, you lied. But did we do MS? We did MS.
And that's true.
Right? So truth and MS usually go inside. Sometimes they don't, because you want to do MS. Okay? So let me explain to you something. This world, by definition, right? God created this world. He pulled himself back and created a world. Right? Once he created this world, so what when he created this world? He created something outside of God. Is the world real?
From our point of view, yes.
No, it looks real.
Yeah.
Is it eternal?
No.
No.
No,
It's going to disappear. Right? So therefore, it's not emes.
it's not Emerson.
It's the world is sheker.
Yeah.
Right? The world, right? And so therefore, does the world really exist? Or are we just God, right? Right? And by the way, God's recreating the world every second. You know
Our
that?
soul is eternal. Our life is maybe 150 years.
No.
So how real is this world?
Right.
How real is the world?
So what I'm telling you, so that's why I said this world isn't real. It looks real, it feels real, sounds real, but is this God or is it not God?
It's not God.
It's not God. And so therefore it's all here. It's the charade for what? We're going to choose to do the right thing, to come
God
closer
is
to God.
the creator of the world. He's not the world.
Again, the world. Again, if the God would cease to exist, the world would cease to exist. If the world would cease to exist, God would still exist.
Sure.
Right. So therefore, the world. Right. And so therefore, it's here as a way for us to choose to have a relationship with God. And He puts all this fancy stuff out, and we have all the charades, and we have all the mirages, all the things that we think are real.
In reality, so all we need to do is get that, and then we'll get all of that. But instead, we're like, I got to go do this and worry about that. But really, if you just did that, the rest would matter.
I want to hear something amazing. Let me say it for everybody else. This world is nothing more than a mask of God. And all our job is to pull the curtain aside and say, God, I see you. Yeah. This world is only a mask of God.
Like a sheet over it.
Like a sheet. Look. What does the world say is important? How many people watched the Super Bowl last Sunday?
Part of it.
What? Right?
Money.
Right? How many people? What? Like the whole thing is like just ridiculous. You know what the Hebrew word for world is? The Hebrew word for world. You want to hear something like super cool? Olam. Other words called Olam Hazeh. This world. What is the world to come called? Olam Haba. Now listen to me carefully. Do you know what the word Olam really means?
You're writing a board for me?
The root of the word Olam comes from the word He'elam, which means hidden. Olam Hazeh, which we translate as this world. This means hidden here. Who's hidden? What's hidden? God. What's our job? Find God. Our job is to go through the world and saying, God, 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 God! I see you everywhere, right? Because it's all hidden here. Just the mask. The mask is over and we just peek through it. Hey, God.
And the new world, what does that mean?
Love your mom, right? And Olam Haba is the world Haba that comes.
Hidden what?
But the Haba that comes. What does it come?
Becoming hidden?
No, what does it come from?
Hidden.
From this world. What we do in this world is what creates our world to come.
Where did the hidden go?
No, because it's
hidden.
Right. No, but it's the hidden that gets revealed.
Oh, okay, so it's just a part of the world.
Right.
Okay.
It becomes revealed that we see God.
Okay.
And that's what the world to come is. The world to come becomes this where we see God. Right? That's what it is. And what's our job? Our job is to go ahead and to say, God, right? To walk around and say it's God all over the place. Right? And so everything here, that's why don't get caught up in anything that's in front of you. Because it's a mirage. Because what's real? God, your relationship with Him. What about everything else? Yes.
That's a tough one.
Which one?
That it's all a mirage. That's a tough one.
Yes and no.
It's got to.
You think about it.
Swallow that.
One minute, because I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. Are we real?
Our souls are.
Uh-huh. Are we real?
Our bodies aren't.
Our bodies aren't. But you think you're your body. What happens to your body?
It decays.
120, it's gone, baby. 150 for Norm. 120 for the rest of us. Okay, right? Dust and ash, right? But you think you're your body. Are you your body?
No.
No. Okay, good. Mr. Mel, who are you? Will the real Mel please come out?
My soul.
Your soul. That's exactly what I'm saying. And where does your soul come from?
Of course, it comes from God.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So anything physical in this world is not real. Because it all will disappear. There's nothing physical that will stay longer than right? It will stay for how long? How long is our physicality around?
120.
Right? We call 120 is gone. So that's not real. So then what is real?
God.
There's only one thing that's real. What's that?
The soul.
The
soul.
The soul. And that's your connection to God.
What's happening with the
Physically.
Right, you following?
Of course.
Right. So that's how you know that, because this physical, it's all physical stuff, all the stuff is physical, it will be gone. It won't last forever.
Everything that's physical.
Everything in physical has an end.
It has a quantum level.
Has a end.
And at the quantum level, there's no time, no space. No
Right. It's because it's all. That's the thing. It's all a mirage of God to put us into a place where we can choose to do the right thing. And that's our job. We're sitting here trying to choose to do the right thing.
Resurrection.
Okay, what's the thing? Yeah.
Yeah, so,
If you get the
okay.
right frequency.
So in that case, when we look at the verse 4 of the chapter 3.
I'm only up to verse 1, Frankie.
Now,
You know, my hilarious.
oh, so
You're jumping way ahead.
No, oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, when the garden after they ate, they have sinned, you know, and they were banished from the
Oh my gosh! Why did they? Okay, You don't get past verse 1, Scott. It's your fault. They keep on they're jumping us all over the place. I don't do that. Let me ask you a question, Frankie. Okay, let me ask you a little question. Okay, let me ask you a simple question. Why did Adam and Eve get thrown out of the garden?
So that they couldn't eat of the tree.
Why did they get thrown out of the garden?
Because they have
They
sinned.
disobeyed God's command.
They eat from forbidden tree.
They ate from the
were
forbidden
dead,
tree.
and it was eternal. Reality was
That is absolutely wrong.
I'm glad I never said anything.
That is absolutely wrong.
Why
if
did
they
you
died, though,
Oh, they
right?
used
If
their
they
free
died,
will in the wrong,
No.
wrong 50.
That's what.
Okay, no, that's what you said, by eating from the tree.
but if they die at that point, it's not truth because truth is eternal, right? So it's not real. So he has to get out of this garden because they're not real.
No.
They're not-
The garden was so perfect; it was all set aside doing it, but we messed up. It's a longer conversation. But the key, it's not because we ate.
Yeah, but
We
Rabbi,
ate in verse number 6, and we don't get kicked out in verse number 19 or 20.
Well, it's because they didn't make
Right. We don't get kicked out to
Because we didn't wait until the Sabbath.
verse 23 is when we get kicked out.
So
They ate at
Yeah,
verse
yeah.
number 6. There's
Before-
a lot of sentences between verse 6 and
Exactly,
23.
Rabbi, exactly. You know, at the verse 22.
Now you're 22. I'm at verse 1.
Oh, no, verse. Hold on. It said the serpent told them, "You will not surely die."
Yeah.
For God knows that
On the day you eat from it,
I will be open and you will be like a God.
God, right.
So on this on the verse 22nd, what happened there? And what's verse 22nd say? Oh, and Hashem God said, "Behold, man has become like a
unique one of us.
one among us, knowing good and bad, and now lest he put forth his hand and take also the
tree of life and eat
and
live forever."
So because they know that they didn't, that was the truth that when they eat they eat the fruit, they should not die, because God is confirmed on the 22nd that God said that now they ate it, they know that the truth, the bad and the good over there.
No. Okay, that's a whole different. It's a whole different thing.
Oh,
a whole
okay.
different thing. Okay, fine.
3 reasons.
So be
Desire.
Oh, okay. We're not up to it.
So we
Good.
kicked out not because we ate. We got expelled not because we ate.
No, that's not why we got expelled. We ate in verse number 6. We got kicked out to verse number 23.
So it was not an act of punishment.
You wanted more? So you have to come back next week.
Yes.
Okay, but meanwhile, we're not even up to verse. Let's take it verse. Let's take it one step at a time. We'll get to verse.
Well, I thought we were on the verse.
No. We read through chapter 3 just so that you could kind of see the storyline. Now we can come back and discuss it. I thought you read it. I'm sorry. But now we got to really read it, right? Okay, Mel, your homework this week is every day to read this once. Okay? And come back in next week. We're really going to know these answers. Okay. Yes.
The way I read it in different ways that you guys are explaining.
Really? Do you need my glasses?
No. The way I see it is that the serpent is evil inclination actually.
Yeah.
There's no such a thing as a serpent.
Okay, correct. That's what we
The
said.
reason
Okay.
is that I don't think the humankind and the animal kind worked together at that time. And nothing was made physical. Everything was in the spiritual world.
No. The physical world. There was a garden. Adam and Eve were in there. They were barely physical. That's what we talked about, right? They were such huge souls, and the body was just a
Tiny.
sort of kind of like a shell, kind of just holding that in. Rabbi said, if you saw Adam and Eve walking towards you, you see light.
A container
But
of
when
light.
she opened her eyes, all of a sudden everything changed.
And we'll have
When
to.
she ate the fruit,
Hold on.
all of a sudden she opened it up. Wow, what happened?
No. Okay, we'll have to. What changed? Why did they become? Why were they? Why did they become shame?
Because they noticed their body had changed.
They had a physical
They
body.
became
They were
physical.
naked.
The eyes
All of a
were
sudden they're
open.
physical. All of a sudden, oh wow.
They used
Because
to be a
they
soul
didn't go
with a
to
body,
Torah.
and then
They
became
didn't
a
go to
body
Torah.
with a soul.
Oh, yeah.
What?
And that's
They
why
didn't
the-
go to Torah first.
Right. That was the problem. They didn't go to Torah class.
They didn't study Torah first. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly right.
Right. If they would have eaten the tree of knowledge, right, come Shabbat, it would have been okay. But they didn't go to Torah
But
class
they,
first.
maybe Adam thought that he's actually, especially God. Maybe that's why he made the mistake. That's
Well, we're gonna. Okay, hold on. No, we're gonna. Okay, we're
God
gonna.
does not make
Okay, slow
mistakes.
down. We're gonna go through what the mistakes
It's
are.
not human.
Okay, right. We're gonna go through the mistakes. Go ahead.
I find it very interesting in terms of the scenario. Forgive
Right.
me for analogizing that God is a playwright.
Okay. He's a director.
He's also the director
Mm-hmm.
And a producer.
and a producer. Again, that makes
And
it
a financier.
I know.
He's a one-man show.
So for me,
Certainly one God show.
one of the scariest animal for me is the serpent.
Of course.
Not only that, when you say he brought them down to their level, he also made this lowly animal extremely lethal, so that we had to watch our step. Even though he was below us and we kicked sand in his face, he could bite us and kill us in a minute.
True.
Right.
And so that was God's way of saying, listen,
He's small.
he's
but,
small,
But be careful.
but you need to keep on your toes
Right.
and be as close to me as possible.
Here we go. Good.
And,
Right, I like that.
and therefore, I will protect you for the rest of your days.
Right, but you got to know. But what do you have to do?
Study Torah.
Right, and stay away from the
Evil
serpent.
inclination.
Right. Don't mess up.
Don't lose your temper in traffic.
That's it. Right. That's one of the ways. Or don't lose your temper ever. Because what happens when somebody loses their temper? Just interesting. What happens when somebody loses their temper?
They chase God out of the room.
Yeah, but besides be chasing God out of the room,
The wisdom departs.
We become
The wisdom-
animal.
We become
what?
animals.
We become animals.
Animal.
Because we can't make any free will decisions.
Right.
And what makes us human is that we have free will.
Yeah.
So when you throw your free will out the window, you turn yourself into an animal.
There's-
Tell me
Once you
about
got free will, isn't that why you were thrown out of the garden?
Because what?
You had free will.
No.
You,
What?
had
What?
you had free will, but once you ate from the tree, you were no longer able to be in the garden.
No.
Because you became.
Oh no. Oh no.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. So. Okay. Yes, Joyce.
Well, I was gonna say I think it's interesting that it says that Eve saw the tree as desirable as a means.
Oh yeah.
But the wisdom is that you lose your connection to God.
Interesting, fascinating. And they thought they could get it by eating the tree.
Yeah, she thought she was gonna gain.
She was going to gain,
wisdom,
right?
and in fact,
she traded gold
for dross.
for right.
He's the only one to ever pick up on that.
Right. And that's why this whole world is such a shenanigans. Meaning the whole thing. You sit here and you just look at the world. What does the world value?
The world is forgotten.
Right, because everything the world values is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
What's immediate gratification?
Right, and
Maybe
what's our job?
Long-term gratification.
It's a godly thing. Don't get caught up in anything of the world because the whole world is just a bunch of ridiculous things.
I would love to be prepared for the world to come.
Right. This whole world, right? It's all silly. It's all a mask. Right? It'll just it's just a joke.
Some joke.
You know. It's funny. It wouldn't be so serious. It would be funny. Right. You know, like, can you imagine God
At
sitting
some
up
point
there?
it'll be funny.
Can you?
One of those things later.
Can you imagine God sitting? God's crying buckets of tears, not because it's so funny, but because it's so sad. Right? Because the whole world has bought the lock, stock, and barrel, the nothingness of the world, and we're willing to trade God
For
for
superficial.
superficiality.
Human until we ate from the tree,
No.
right? Because
No.
up until then we were in the spiritual.
No. But we were human. We had a body.
Like a translucent one, right?
Yeah. I mean, right? Because our soul was so strong that it was like this. There's nothing else outside of that. Right? You understand what's happening?
Well, but as a result of eating from the tree, you become more human because you become more vulnerable and more.
Okay, well, we'll have to see what happened. Okay, we'll have to see what took place, what switch took place before we ate from the tree and after we ate from the tree.
And why we were expelled.
And why we were expelled. Boris is still trying to figure that out. He wants all the secrets in one time. Rabbi Leshak says they're going to kill me. They're going to reveal you too many secrets at one time. We got to do it a step at a time. We got to keep you coming back. There's got to be something to come back for.
You're right.
No, one question. Are we stupider than animals? Animals.
Stop insulting the animals, okay? I'm going to explain to you something.
How stupid can we be?
Okay. The answer is the capacity for human stupidity is beyond anything I could ever have imagined. Now I'm going to explain to you something. I'm going to explain to you something very sad. Angels, holy or mundane?
What'd you say?
Angels,
Holy.
holy. Animals, holy or mundane?
One day.
Holy.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
That's holy.
God, sir.
No, let me ask you a question. Who created angels?
God.
Who created animals?
God.
Do any of them have free will?
No.
So is there any difference between an animal and an angel?
No.
Yes.
One you can see better. And you
Right. You can see better. What's the difference?
In the respect that they are directly under the command of God and they do
Instincts.
His will.
They both are.
Yeah, but I mean, they are really, I don't know how to put it in the right way, but they are,
The animal.
no, they are not animals.
They're created by God. They're both created by God. What's the difference between an animal and a... So for us,
How they look, the angels.
but let me tell you something, but now listen to me.
They're pretty.
Angels, they fly around like little wings. You're gonna have like the
Seven,
cherubs.
don't they?
Six wings. Most the standard issue for angels is 6 wings. Okay, so they're right. So there are 6 wings. Right, we have 6 wings. Standard issue to angels. 2 to cover their eyes, 2 to cover their foot, and 2 to fly around with. Standard issue, but there are 10 different levels of angels. But angels are no big deal. You know why angels are no big deal?
They have 6 wings, did you say?
It's standard issues.
Standard issue of 6 wings.
Yeah.
Why they are no big deal?
Why? Because they don't have any free will. So what did they do to become an angel? Nothing.
Nothing.
But they represent the goodness.
Okay, lovely. They represent, of course. But what did they do to achieve that?
Not all angels are good.
Really?
Isn't there?
Enlighten me.
Well, isn't there a bad angel on Shabbos?
No. So I always say the not such good angel. Okay, there's no such. The concept of a fallen angel is ridiculous.
Right.
Because how can an angel disobey God? I didn't understand. How can an angel disobey God? It's a silly thing.
So that's
An
why
angel
they-
is on God's. The evil inclination is on God's payroll. His job is to entice us.
The book of Job.
And what's our job?
To resist.
Resist, right? Not to let him win. That's our job.
So,
So now, go back to Michael's question. So if we sin, we're lower than an animal. And if we overcome and resist the evil inclination, we become greater than an angel. We become great and mighty. And that's the struggle of being human. The struggle of being human is figuring out Am I becoming great and mighty? Or am I going to be lower than an animal?
But an animal without a connection with God, because you said
And
right, God
it's
tells
an angel.
the animals what to do, and angels.
It's
what
an
to
angel,
do.
right? He's an angel. God, an angel, an animal's free will. It has no free will.
But if you say if you're going to be like an animal, if you go against
Worse than an animal.
worse. Okay, worse. So you wouldn't be an animal. Okay.
Right? No, stop insulting the animals.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what
Animals
that's
are good
what I mean.
things, right? They're created by God, right? It's right. The animals don't do anything wrong.
No.
Now we humans, and that's why when you lose your temper. So the one thing that makes you human is your free will. When you lose your free will, what do you become? An animal. Well, but lower than an animal.
That's what.
Right? So don't let anyone take away your humanity.
Don't lose your
Right? Don't lose what makes you human,
temper.
which is your free will.
Can I just add to your answer? I saw a program between a member of ISIS who was captured, and one of the Yazidis that he actually raped came back to interview him.
Oh yeah?
And he said that he has done over 200 head cutting and over, I don't know, how many
Wow.
raping, and honestly, an animal cannot do that.
Right,
It's worse than an animal.
yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And he was laughing about it after
Right.
all of that
Right.
has been done.
Right, it's
The
crazy.
same as Holocaust, Nazi
Right. People have the capacity to become dogs. I mean, lower than animals.
She said something very nice at the end of the interview. She said, "Listen, I will survive. I will go on with my life, but you won't. This
Right.
is the end for you."
Good, but you know, but I mean, who wants to live such?
This is the reason. This is my winning
Right.
medal right now.
Right, sure. I mean, that's again, right? Our job, right, is to resist the evil inclination. Don't get sold by the charade or by the superficiality of the world. And I'll tell you something fascinating. You want to know something really fascinating? Okay, this is for our string theory fellows. You know, God is continuously recreating the universe every second.
Less than every second.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. More than 60 times a second. Right? Because it's 60 times a second, right? You see these fluorescent lights? Are they on?
Yeah.
They seem to be.
They seem to be on. Right. You know they're flickering, right?
Yes, right. So fast we can't.
Right? That's about 60 megahertz. Right? It's something, a screen blinks 60 times a second, and it looks like it's on. Right? So it's really shutting on and off faster than 60 times. That's when it gets slow, like it looks like light goes like that, like it looks, it looks like, or like a bad computer monitor.
And it kind of blinks.
It kind of looks like those lines go across it. You know what the problem is?
No.
It's flickering less than 60 times a second.
Yeah, that's what.
And so then your eye is picking up that it's flickering.
But it's always flickering. It's just not going fast enough.
Right. And so God is continuously recreating the world. We say in the prayers every morning. We thank God. You know what we say? Listen to this. You'll never say this prayer again the same. We say every morning, God, you are hamachadesh v'tuvo. You continuously renew with your goodness, and b'chol yom tamid. Every day, continuously, ma'aseh Bereishis, the creation of the world. The world is continuously being recreated.
Where's that prayer in the morning?
In the morning blessings before the Shema. Okay, it's after Baruch, it's before, right?
Is in the city.
Yeah, it's in the city. My city. Yeah.
In the morning blessing.
Art scroll page. There's an art scroll sitting here. Right, we say, God, thank you so much because you are continuously. Taylor, if you go into my room,
office,
if you go into my office, right next to. All right, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
The transliteration or the
No, the orange one. Yeah, right. We say, God, right, right. God, you continuously are recreating the world. That's what you say every second. Right, and the point of all this is for us to choose to become godly. right? And they were put in the garden for the same exact reason. We put in the garden to go ahead and to choose, right, to become godly, right, and to go ahead and to, right, to choose, right, to have a relationship with God or not. And God put one simple test. Took the serpent, stuck the serpent, and said, and stuck the serpent in, right, and said, go ahead, right, come, thank you, stuck the serpent in and said, see if you're going to choose to listen to the serpent, or you're going to choose to listen to me, and we'll see what man chooses, right? Right.
This is very heavy duty.
It's fascinating stuff. So listen to this, page 85 in your art scroll center. Now tomorrow morning when you're praying, page 85. Right? You start off the blessing. Blessed are you, Hashem, my God, King of the universe, who forms light and creates darkness, makes peace and creates all. Hameir la'aretz, he who illuminates the earth and those who dwell upon it with compassion. Compassion. And in his goodness renews daily, perpetually, the work of creation. How great are your works, Hashem? You make them all with wisdom, and the world is full of your possessions. The King who was exalted in solitude before creation, who is praised, glorified, and upraised since days of old. Eternal God, with your abundant compassionate, be compassionate to us. O Master of our power, a rock-like stronghold, O shield of salvation, be a stronghold for us. And that the blessed God, who is great in knowledge, prepared and worked on the rays of the sun, fashioned and placed luminaries all around his power. These legions, holy ones, exalt Almighty, constantly relate the honor of God and his sanctity. May you be blessed, Hashem, my God, beyond the praise of your handiwork and beyond the bright luminaries you have made. May they glorify yourself, etc., etc. At the beginning of the first blessing after Baruch Hu, first blessing of the Shema, right, where we thank God, right, for just keep on creating work, right, like this, right, creating it again and again. Betuvo, with this goodness. Right? It's amazing. Amazing world that he created. Amazing, amazing world. Continuously recreating the world. All for our sake. And all for us. It's one cool thing, my friends.
But not changing his mind.
What?
He does not change his mind.
God cannot change his mind.
Right, exactly.
Why can't God change his mind?
Because he's always creating it the way he intended it to be created.
No.
Why? Why can't he change his mind?
Because is there tomorrow?
Would mean you made a mistake.
Right.
Let's go back to Bereishis.
Go back chapter 1, verse 1. We go back to page 2. He can't for two reasons. Number one, he knows everything. Would he change his mind?
No.
Okay, good. Number 2, remember, God doesn't have time. Time is for us human beings that live in a bubble called time, called this world. Where does God exist?
Outside.
Be outside this. So does God have time? No. So does everything? When does everything happen for God? Now.
That's why everything's so slow when he works on it, right?
Well, again, there's no time, right? It's all right. It's all above God,
So,
right? That's what happens.
So we live in a godly world that changes every second.
Wait, okay. What do you mean changes?
You said that
Continuously recreates every second.
So every second.
It's like the slow move, like this, like the move of the guy runner.
For us, it's very, very slow, but for him, it's like every second continuously changes.
He's recreating the world.
That
So I
means
say, I think I'm here. I remember I was here a second ago, but God's continuously recreating me.
So I can be here and I close my eyes and open this earthquake around me.
Correct. Everything. God controls everything. Right? It's got all, right? Creates it, owns it, right? Owns everything, knows everything. No big deal. No big deal for God.
This situation will stop someday?
Yeah.
Messianic era.
No, after the Messianic era.
What is the time of resurrection, Rabbi?
You see, Boris, you have to come back like in like 20 years and we'll talk about the resurrection.
He'll have to resurrect in 20 years.
I want to get to Deuteronomy first, okay?
And then we'll get to it. Okay, we'll get
Can I
to
just
it.
say
The time
something?
to come.
They just found out recently
Yeah,
from the McDonald's French fries.
yeah.
There's something chemical in there that can help you grow your hair, and from that they are able to raise the human age limit. They're
Mhm.
going to find that in the future,
Mhm.
and they're actually mean it.
And McDonald's French fries?
The McDonald's.
You know it is. No, the reason is because it has so much oil in it, it won't fall apart.
What?
There's so much oil in it, it won't
I
fall
just
apart.
have to give you the follow-up to that. It's been debunked. They said it's nonsense.
There's
Oh,
no-
I
yeah.
saw that article and this another article.
It's always good to have a
But
doctor in
in the old
class.
days, during the Noah time, mankind used to live up to 800 years old.
Sure,
So
900 years.
that's not impossible.
Correct. Not impossible. Not only impossible, but I want to explain to you something why it doesn't make a difference. Because why do you die?
Your job's done.
Yeah.
4 reasons.
4 reasons.
I gotta go to court.
Rebel.
Right? There are 4 reasons why you die. So your physical body can stick around as long as it wants. When God comes time to recall your soul leaves.
And then the body goes.
And then the body, right? So that's why it doesn't make a difference. Right? But that's right. Your soul is on a mission. Or as they say in the blues, brother, on a mission from God. Right? That's our job. Right? We're on a mission from God. Right? We're put here in this world. We have a mission to do. And when we finish this mission,
I
then it's
remember when they said that.
it's a cool.
I'm old enough.
Right? And right, it's just such a
mission
funny.
from God.
And
So what were the 4 reasons you said? One of them is...
You want your back.
four reasons why people die.
Yeah,
1 is their time to go.
yes.
2 is they
Rebellion.
rebelled against God. 3, they're so righteous God wants them near Him. 4 is the sins of the parents.
Providing that you continue to do them.
Okay,
It's not based on-
or you're young enough, therefore then it doesn't even make a difference.
Doesn't even make a difference.
So the sins of the parents, but if they live the righteous life, are they touched?
No,
They're,
they disconnect themselves from that.
So
Yeah.
they're left alone.
It's
Yeah.
continuing the sins of the parents.
Right,
And then they get double if they do it.
right.
Right.
Maybe
Whatever, they get right for them and the parents,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot. Again, that's a whole other class too, but that's not as far as 10 years from now.
I mean,
That's
God, Hashem doesn't want our soul to live in the fallen human.
no. He put us in this world for our soul to go ahead and to come close to Him. The whole purpose of this world is for us to create a relationship with God. That's why we're here.
So our body became a fallen body, bad. That's why
No, you need to have your body because otherwise you can't do mitzvahs. You can't choose to do mitzvahs.
Because angels don't choose, right? Yeah.
Angels don't choose. And our job is to choose to follow the commandments, not to do them, but to choose to do them.
But it seems like there's no point in God creating the world unless we eat from the tree.
That's very interesting. So that was certainly part of His job. It would have short-circuited that we would have gone straight to the Messianic era if we hadn't eaten from it. Right? So the world would be shortened because of that.
What is Messianic era?
Mashiach.
After that, there's a new world.
It's a new type of world.
It's 1,000 years from this year, right?
There's 1,000 years of the Messianic era. That's when God comes back to again, when Jewish people go back to Israel, we rebuild the temple, we have a king, right?
So I'll come back and I see this someday.
Could be. Righteous people come back.
Yeah, the presence
The
of God will
resurrection,
be
that's
felt.
what the-
Depends how righteous we are.
So that's where the resurrection.
That's where the resurrection of the dead comes back.
So
But you have to be righteous.
Not all people will be resurrected.
Well, the truth is actually interesting. It seems that even wicked people will be
Revived?
revived, resurrected, but they will sit on the sidelines.
They don't get to eat the.
They don't get to partake of the world. They just get to see their what could have been happened if they would have been righteous.
In the world to come.
It's like a furthering of their pain.
So they will be present in the world to come, but they won't be able to participate in it?
Yeah, something like that.
So what's the point of Teshuvah?
What is tshuva?
I mean, what about Teshuvah? If I'm going to
Returning to God. And
But
tshuva.
can you do it at the
But
last
there's no
second?
guarantees.
Yes. Do it right now. Right this second. We could do tshuva.
Am I not doing it right now?
By coming to you. You know, you're right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I have to continue.
Ah, that's the catch.
Because you don't know when's the last second.
Right. You know what the Talmud says? Eat, drink, and be merry. Just do tshuva the last day of your life.
Yeah, but that's kind of a joke.
No, it's not kind of a joke. It's real. But you know what the Talmud says? You know what the next line it is?
You don't know.
Today might be your last day. Right? So you better do tshuva now. Right? But that's what it is, right? No one does know how long we're here for. Right? We're in day passes. You know, who knows how long we're here for? Right? Our job is to become the best.
When do you know that you have achieved
Mission?
a good relationship with God? Because I'm trying to do everything, but I'm still there.
The answer is, it's always the greater your relationship, the more you can achieve. Right? So there's no end, because when you get to the end, you realize that there's so much more.
So it's an unlimited effort. You
Right.
keep going forever.
No. Because once you've achieved it, then you move on to the next world.
Uh-oh.
Right.
I'm not sure I want to go.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. So the only reason to be in this world is to achieve that. Yeah.
Does 100% equal 100%?
What does that mean? Right.
Well, you study all day.
I wish.
Okay, but you study more.
Somebody studies 100% of the day. Yeah, go ahead.
And so, you try, but
Somebody who goes to work.
There's no scoreboard I can go to at the end of the day.
Right, but you come to your rabbi and he could tell you how you're doing. No, because why? It's like this. The person who needs to go to work, right? Because that's part of this world. Part of this world, they have to go to work. But they do it for the right reasons. That they get close to God by going to work. Right? You understand? It's not outside of God. Right? It's being part of God. Right? You following?
Got it.
Right? So therefore, you can achieve more by going to work in a day than somebody sits and studies all day. Right? Because if that's what you're supposed to do and you do it for the right reasons, you're creating godliness, holiness of your whole day. You following?
I do, but there's so many things in different categories that one is called on to do.
Right?
Being a caregiver.
Right, sure. In all sorts of categories. When you put your head on your pillow at night, let me tell you what to do. When you put your head on your pillow at night, take the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your day, go through your day, and score yourself. Right? Score yourself. Say, did I do good today? What did I do good? What did I do okay? What did I do not good? And how can I correct those? And God, please, I'm sorry for things I did wrong. I'm going to try to do better. Do tshuva before you go to sleep. Say, I'm sorry, God, go ahead. I'm sorry for those things that I did wrong. Right? Then God, for things I did okay, please help me do them better. And things that I did great, hit out of the ballpark, God, let me keep on hitting them out of the ballpark. But right, it means that if we do that, right, every day, kind of just going ahead and checking what we're doing and kind of scoring ourselves at that point in time, that's how we become great. That's an amazing person, right? That's like super cool, right? Like that's what it's about. Right? It's about focus, saying focus. You know what I'm saying? Then don't take your head out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Right? And just say, okay, right? You know, this is my job. This is what I'm doing. Did I do it good? Did I make God proud? Yeah. Awesome. Check. Good day. If I didn't, God, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to do better tomorrow. Please help me do better tomorrow. Right? That's it. You know what they say. If you bathe every day, you don't have to scrub that hard. You know what I'm saying? If you bathe every day, you don't have to scrub that hard. Right?
Yeah, so just
right? You know what I'm saying?
5 minutes before you go to sleep, think about your day.
Right. Just go through. Right. And just see what did you right, what did you do wrong, what could I done better, what could I done worse. And then you'll know. Then you walk away. You've used your day well. And that's the goal.
Yeah.
Right? To use our time well. Right? Now, some people might need to do this a little earlier before they go to sleep. Because if they got angry at somebody, they might have to call that person before they go to bed and apologize. And then as soon as they hang up, go to bed before they get angry at anybody else.
What if that person doesn't know you're angry with them?
Well, that's good.
I'm not saying in general. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You haven't gotten hold of them yet. Or something.
Right. No, I get it.
Or just you know that kind of anger where you're not angry enough to tell them, you're just irritated.
Right. Yeah. That's very interesting. That's why you're irritated.
Well,
No. Don't answer. Well, your person's got to think why they're irritated.
No,
What's
just saying
bothering?
hypothetically.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
No,
Never
not
really
you.
happens,
No,
I'm just
I
saying.
could imagine happens to some people.
Just helping everybody else.
Thank you. That was very kind. Yes. Okay. So that's what it's about. So next week we're going to pick up from chapter 3, verse 1. Maybe we'll get to the second half of the verse. But study up the story so you get it straight this time. Okay?
Yeah, I just have one question.
Yeah.
And we all do that.
Right.
We all the time always the contract is over.
Right.
Some of us good, some of us bad. But what is peace at the end? How do you know that you're peaceful and you're going for a good reason?
And so it depends what you did with your life. That's exactly what happens.
Do you think back, like what I have done, and now it's time to correct myself, it's time to go see actual... Here comes the court side.
Yeah, no. I told you. Every night before you go to sleep, take 5 minutes and go over...
How would I know, what is peace? How would I know I'm in peace before I go?
And how do you know your peace? Are you godly? Are you acting like God? Right? Are you creating a relationship in? Right? That's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're trying to achieve. Mitzvahs.
Should I be like scoring myself? Like,
yeah.
Should I be like punishing myself?
There's no such thing as punishment. Punishment's a bad word. You got to correct yourself.
But if I have stolen from somebody, how am I going to collect myself if I go back over there?
No. Pay him back. There's a whole book on tshuva. You have to know how to do it. You got to know how to straighten up stuff that you might have done wrong.
So 20 years before I go, I'm gonna go clean everything.
You know, don't wait. Do it now. It's good. You scrub a little bit every day. It's good. Not really. All righty, folks. Everyone have a wonderful evening.